actually do that, that the meeting will continue if you're recording.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good to, it's a good test, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm leaving to go photocopy something. I'll be right back. To see how they conduct themselves.
Exactly. I can hardly wait till the next time I see them. I'll tell them that I watched the recording and I could see what they were doing when I was gone.
So did you have the majority of your students able to join?
I had 21 out of 27.
Wow, good.
And how long did you have your meet for?
It was for an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was kind of good though. Everybody, we practiced using the microphone and using the chat, and everybody got to share. And then I did a Mad Lib with them. So I read out the Mad Lib and they put their answers in the chat. And then I chose which answer I wanted from the chat. And then we read out the Mad Lib. It was fun.
That's awesome. Good thinking. So you just kept it like game-based at the beginning?
Honestly, it took them that long to figure out how to get their camera on, how to use the chat, how to see the different views. I shared my screen a bit and tried to walk them through my Google Classroom a bit. You know, the hour went pretty quick.
That's a perfect strategy. I would think we would all agree with, like, the first one being light and fun and showing the features, right? Yeah. Not putting the stress of the lesson on top of that.
Oh no, and they were so excited to see each other and figure out how to put crazy unicorn emojis in the chat. And, you know.
Right. First thing first.
Yeah.
Unicorn.
You made my day. Thank you.
That's awesome. So when will you meet again?
Monday. I think we're planning to try to do twice a week as a whole group.
So nice. Good. And then what does the in-betweens look like?
Well, details are sketchy. You know, I don't know. Probably maybe meeting with small groups on an ad hoc basis. I'm not really sure. I don't think we're supposed to meet one-on-one with people though.
Right. Got it. That's super cool. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing. I'm just, I'm trying to get into the Flipgrid that my sister had created for my family as a family activity to share.
Yeah.
Which has been amazing. The kids keep asking, whoa, when are you going to post again? When are you going to post again?
Yeah, we're hoping to, a bunch of the teachers at our school are hoping to try to do Flipgrid and incorporate it with our classroom things. So that'll be exciting to try.
Yeah.
And Flipgrid added that you can now record your screen in the last week, and they've also added VR, like when you point at a little QR code, think of it, it automatically prompts the movie to play.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So what were you saying, Corinne? You can record your screen or record yourself?
Well, you can always, Flipgrid allows you to record a video of yourself.
Right.
But a new addition to it this week is that you can also record like your screen. So if in your Flipgrid you want to show them how to do something on the internet or something, and then they could watch that video with your head in it, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I'm just trying to pull mine up. So who has a family activity to share while I do that?
I would love to share with you guys. Microsoft has put out a family activity site, and I'll put the link in a minute, but let me just show it to you on my screen. So let me open, I'll put this link in a second so you'll have it. Are you all seeing my screen? Nod at me. Good. So what this is called the Educator Center, and the idea behind it is that you can have a family learning center. And what I like best about it is you can pick what your kids' ages are, if they're 3 to 6 or 6 to 9 or 9 to 12. There's even a little learning schedule that pops into Excel here of maybe activities that you could do all week long. And then the activities, there's hundreds. Let me just show you one. So let's say you want to talk about the stars at night. They have this one from Wonderopolis, and it tells you that this is really based for a middle school lesson. Teachers could assign it or parents could do it with their families. It always has like a video like this one's using Flipgrid, and it tells you how long it's going to last and how they can join into the activity and what are some tools and other lessons that might work well with it. So I'll put this link up in our little chat here. If you get a chance, just click first on what age group you're focusing on, and then some of the awesome activities. Martha, let me pass my desktop back to you.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Corinne. We'll be posting that in or making it a shortcut on our desktop for sure. I can share my screen now. I just found it. My son's currently trying to log into his Minecraft, so I'm not sure if he's going to come and jump on to share with me. Frank, do you want to come share Flipgrid with me, buddy? To show the teachers how to do it? So Frank has decided to come to work with us every morning this week. He's doing a good job as an employee of Fair Chance Learning, an employee fun of Fair Chance Learning. And so do you want to explain to everybody what the Flipgrid's about? Who did it?
Teresa.
Okay, so who's Teresa?
My aunt.
Your aunt? Is she your favorite aunt?
No.
This is being recorded. So let me know that you can see my screen, everyone. You good? Okay, so do you want to talk about the different topics?
So there's where you will be in 20 years, biggest tower, and yeah, and book recommendations.
So there's how many topics?
There's 4 topics.
So which one do you want to show them that you did?
I'll show them where you will be in 20 years.
So you can post a topic and you can give directions. You'll see here, can you read what it says there?
It's Monday morning, 20 years from now. Describe a typical day in your life at this point.
And if you were having trouble, you'll see from the awesome presentation that Barb did or chat that she did on Minecraft, the immersive reader is there. So if you need that literacy support, it's built right in for any of the writing that's included in Flipgrid to allow the student to be able to understand the instructions. So the instructions were, it's Monday morning, 20 years from now. Describe a typical day in the life at this point, in your life at this point. So which one do you want to show?
I'll show mine.
Okay, where is it? So these are some of Frank's cousins.
Oh no, I want to show yours.
Oh, great.
Yay. Click on it.
Okay. And I'm not sure if I included my system audio. Did I include my system audio? Could you hear it there? Did you hear that? I can't hear you. Corinne, did you hear that?
No, we couldn't hear it.
We couldn't hear it, Martha.
Okay, I'll include my system audio again.
Okay.
But you'll see there that we've all created a response, and then each of our cousins can respond to one another with respect to how their how the session went. So where's Frank's? Here's Frank's.
Hi guys, it's Frank, and in 20 years I will be 28. I will be a firefighter for Brooklyn. I will be married to a police officer. I will be living with 2 rescue dogs. I will have 1 child, and finally I will be a very good hockey player. This is me in 20 years.
And then you'll see that Frank got how many responses?
3.
3 responses. So you can click on to get a response from.
That's great. That was epic. I hope all your dreams come true. Way to go!
And you lip singing it.
So there you go. That's a great way for the kids to stay connected. And like I said earlier, they're all wanting to see what's posted next. So that's our Flipgrid family activity. Who's got next?
Hey, Martha, I can share an idea.
Awesome.
Okay, so mine's really low tech compared to yours and Corinne's. But years ago, I went to this math conference and I heard a guy, Ron Lancaster, and he was talking about math trails. And a math trail is simply, you can set them up, or it's just when you're out having a walk on a beautiful day as it is right now, and seeing the math that's around you. So when you and your family are out, you can talk about what shapes you see and do some estimating for measurement, and you can do like area and things like that. And, you know, it's just a really good opportunity to see the math in the real world. So if you're looking at nature, you could talk about the conical shapes of trees, or if you're in the city looking at buildings, you can talk about all the triangles and the rectangles and the three-dimensional shapes that you see. And it's really, really awesome if you're into like estimating and then checking your measurements, and good for getting those benchmark figures, like how big is a meter, how big is a centimeter, how big is a kilometer, things like that. So on a beautiful day like this, I highly recommend that you take your family outside and look at the math that's existing in the real world.
That's awesome. I'm looking across the street. We're in Newmarket on Main Street, and I see lots of rectangles and I see grid patterns. So that ratio is everywhere, Barb.
That's
it's
right.
Just
that's
jumping
right.
out at me.
And it's important for kids to hear that it's everywhere, right? And that everybody is using it. It's not something to fear. It's something to be embraced.
I have to tell you a story about Ron Lancaster. So he's a professor at U of T. I believe
Yep.
he's still there, mathematics professor. And we actually worked with him when I was pregnant with Frank. So Frank's turning 9, at the end of this month. And he travels the world and does these math walks all over the world. And he was in Korea at the time. I was pregnant with Frank, and he sent me this beautiful DVD of this, like, just this awesome story of a grandfather, or this older man, and this young boy who was discovering math. And it was just like, it didn't have any subtitles, but it was such a thematic, like, masterpiece. And I just remember holding my new baby, watching this video from this professor who travels the world and was thoughtful enough to send something to me. It was just, he is one of the most sincere people I've ever met in my life. And he does, I mean, he's a brilliant mind. He's a magician. You might not know that,
Yep.
but he's an incredible magician. And his connections are just so, he just simplifies the connections to math in a way that, everybody feels that they can be successful with it.
Absolutely. And another workshop that I saw him do, he rolled in with this big old beat up suitcase, and the workshop was like math with garbage. And he opens up his suitcase, and everything we did was like a whole ton of geometry and angles and interior and exterior angles and all that sort of geometry stuff. And he did it all with like paper, like garbage paper. It was just hysterical. And it sounds so like him, right? Like it's math trails, and then he's math with garbage. And it's just a funny, really cool guy.
So cool. He is amazing. Yeah. Let's get him on a staff chat. Megan, hook that up. We got to track it down.
Martha, I have to sneak out, so I'm just going to jump in and share mine, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
So mine, so it's just really, I'm just sharing a little bit of, I guess, troubleshooting that Willem and I have done. So he got nominated to shoot the 25 pucks a day for 10 days. So one of my friends, whose daughter also plays hockey, challenged us that on Facebook. So Willem went outside with his pucks, and so what he did was he videoed himself in Snap, and then we couldn't figure out, he couldn't figure out how he could re-tag his friends in that. So we talked about all the different ways that you can share, or you can take video, and then how we were going to share it. And then he wanted to put it on YouTube. And so we did go through, and we had his video, and then we we had to refilm it. So he had to shoot a few more pucks, which was fine. He was fine with that. And then we tagged some of his friends as well. And he was really excited. So we did that one time. And then we also just got this morning. So this is going to be a challenge for me. So it's the splicing of all the videos. So all the kids on his team are like doing something with a puck and then passing it over. So we have to do his little splice, and then the parents asked if I would compile it. So that was nice of them. So I'm going to have to figure out how to put all of those splices together into a video. So that will be my learning, but just kind of incorporating, getting those kids to connect with one another and try and stay active.
That's awesome. Kim, have you looked at the Windows 10 photo app?
No.
Okay, so you can splice in that. You can pull different videos in, and you can insert it in a timeline. I was playing around with it with some of our videos that we were doing this week. So I would suggest that you check that out.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Because I was struggling with how I was going to be able to put that all together. So. And
please share it out when you've done it.
Yes, I will. I will. Probably next week, because I told Willem that we're going to just go outside, and it's supposed to be, I mean, it's crappy today and we're supposed to get snow, but tomorrow it's supposed to be 9. So we're going to get outside and do some fun stuff.
Joy over perfection too.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. They will love just seeing themselves on there. So, and if anybody's critical, then they can do it themselves next time.
Step right up.
Yeah. Okay, I have to run to 7 Gens quickly, but have a great day, everybody.
You too. Thanks, Kim. Who's got next?
I'll share it. It's a little teaser to next week, I think. I don't know. I haven't seen the schedule, but and building on Corinne's sharing of some of the Microsoft education at home, in our house, we've actually been playing with some of the Hacking STEM activities, specifically ones that involve water beads, and they're now everywhere in my house. They are horrible, but incredible at the same time. So if you haven't had a chance, the Hacking STEM, aka.ms/hackingstem, and I'll post a link in there as well. There's some really complicated things, but there's some really easy, low barrier to entries, everyday objects around your house. Explore STEM, science, crafting, and so they're a lot of fun. Like I said, we're going to share a bit more about that next week, I think, on one of the days. Megan will tell me which one.
This is a perfect segue to me, because you're looking forward and I'm looking back. On Tuesday, Barb was sharing some ideas about Minecraft, and my ears around the house heard her, and immediately my daughter went downstairs and started building her dream home for her quarantine. So she's still working on it. She's loving it. And then actually my son and Martha's Frank, who we've already seen, they hooked up and have been collaborating on building the Main Street Newmarket, where our Fair Chance Learning offices are. Oh, my daughter's yelling at me, I'm building it too. So she's hearing me now. And so they're recreating Main Street in Minecraft, but apparently my daughter says they just end up building cars and messing around, so she's furious at them. Also, though, another sort of outdoor activity that they're trying to resist, but it's happening. It's a bike scavenger hunt, basically. So I've given them, my boys have phones, and I have 3 kids. They're getting on their bikes, and they have certain landmarks around town that they have to get a picture of themselves in front of. And that was my, I have to get them going, and I have to get them to go a certain distance. So that's my hack on that one. And then actually, lastly, my daughter is really into the ukulele, which she, at school was introduced to. So she's been exploring different apps and has landed right now on the Fender app and is teaching herself ukulele in what is described as her music class. So that one's she's finding it easy to use and enjoying it. So that's my
go.
Yeah.
Frank was trying to convince me this morning. He's like, Mom, Kai and I need mods. We need the mods for the cars on the street. And he's like, don't worry, Mom, we'll put in like 2 best moms and we'll put your names on it. Like, this is him convincing. And I said, I think you need to talk to Billy about whether she thinks that that's a worthwhile investment of time.
No, yesterday she came up because they were wrestling in Minecraft. And she was just like, oh, we can't get anything done. So I don't think she'd appreciate that. I don't think she would, but anyway.
A little, not so humble brag, but Emma started riding her bike, no training wheels, full 2 wheels, 2 days ago. So that's been up and down the sidewalk kilometers of outdoor fun.
That's so good. Love it. So please, someone who's next, come on in.
Our kids have taken up skateboarding over the course of this time. So those.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's Michelle. Yay.
Mine's unplugged. It's just cooking, finding a recipe, whether it's baking or a meal, and then cooking with your kids, because then you get some math, you get some procedural thinking, and it's just fun.
And delicious, hopefully. Anyone else in the group? Chris, Jen, what are you up to? What are your students up to?
Well, I've been posting some science experiments on TikTok for my students to try at home. So some of them have been watching the videos and trying them at home. So that's been kind of a good connection for me with my kids.
Awesome. And your dance moves.
They're pretty solid.
Yeah.
Thanks.
A lot of my students have been growing plants at their house. I teach grade 4, and right now we have a vegetable garden growing back at school in the classroom that currently the secretary is taking care of. So the kids really miss the vegetable garden. So a lot of them, when I was video chatting them, were showing me that they had all started seedlings at their house with their families.
Wow. That's awesome. So cool. I saw on Twitter, there was a teacher said that she had passed by her school and saw the community garden growing, and she was so excited and sad at the same time that the kids were missing it. But pretty neat that knowing it's growing and it'll be there, it'll continue to be there for whenever they get welcomed back. But very neat. Any other ones? The other thing we wanted to share was what our mantra, motto, or phrase that keeps going over in your mind over this time. So we created the FCL staff room playlist that I was raking the leaves over the weekend and kept adding my content to. This weekend, I'm not sure if anybody else has posted from our team, but the one phrase that keeps going over in my head again and again as we're having these meetings and we're testing things out and taking risks is from Tragically Hip, Ahead by a Century, with the no dress rehearsal. This is our life. Just, we have to go for it. This is the time for getting on stage, trying things out with one another and putting on a production. And it does feel a little bit like a theater sometimes, or maybe a circus, but that's the one that keeps going through my head. Anybody else have a phrase or a thought or idea that keeps going through their head?
I keep having the Dixie Chicks song, Wide Open Spaces, going through my head. I'm in lockdown right now, so I think that's where my head keeps just the hope up.
It'll come, Mish, it'll come.
Yeah, between that and The Hills Are Alive.
Sound of Music, beautiful. It's better than Gaslighter, the new Dixie Chicks one, right? Which also is super catchy.
Or the Earl song.
Yes, Earl's Gotta Die.
That's one.
Yeah, stay married if you can, Mish. Protect your Earl. Jeff hears, I keep hearing going on a lion hunt. That's totally random. Oh, got to go through it. Okay, I got it. I got you. Well done. Yeah. Corinne's got my mantra, what I love most about staying home to self-quarantine is who I share it with. That's nice. That's really cool. You don't have to be an expert. That's a good one. Hey, Barb, I like the rewired instead of retired. I think you have to adapt that for sure. Rewired or remixed.
Oh, great. Yep, that's going to be my new go-to. Rewired, remixed, one of those.
Yeah, I'm not retired. I'm rewired. Any other ones? What about songs that are getting you through that you just crank? And I like Megan's safe at home, not stuck at home. Nice picture of the squirrels that Karen is with. Hootie and the Blowfish have been getting through for me. I've been playing a lot of Hootie and the Blowfish, which I'm seeming to enjoy more now than I did then. Dustin's got a lot of country going on. Right, Dust?
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
It's my lane, Martin.
Any other songs? You want to pass the...
I love how Titus can say, no surprise, I have a Icelandic Eurovision stuck in my head, as if, of course that's a surprise, Titus.
I mean, I was going to guess that was the one that was stuck in his head.
Yeah, it's such a pity that they had to call off the Eurovision this year. So we have to just have our own, experience in isolation.
Version, yeah. When I was at E2 with the Microsoft Educator Exchange, I had no idea what Eurovision was. And so there was this group. They were from Germany, they were from France, and I think the UK, and actually Egypt. And they sat me down and had a very serious talk about, what Eurovision is and who was the best team and the conspiracy that has been built around country submissions of who their contestants are. Because Celine Dion at one point was entered into the Eurovision competition.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Icelandic team was robbed because they were going to win this year, and it's a conspiracy that they had to call it off so that they wouldn't. And Netflix also has a documentary coming out, and there's some questions around the timing. Yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, we wanted to keep this session short because it's Friday and that feels good, but we wanted Nancy for just sharing that with your group. We wanted to thank you with a little a gift pack. So you need to send us your address so we can give you a little care package from the Microsoft and Fair Chance Learning team for taking the risks and being here with us. And we also have something for Jennifer and Chris for contributing over the course of this week as well. So we need your 3 addresses. If you want to email them to me, your home addresses, or if you want to email them to Megan, then we're going to put together a nice little care package to look after you, since you're doing such an awesome job looking after your students, your family, and contributing to this conversation. So thank you very much. And we'll get those in the mail for you. And next week, Meg, what do we have on tap?
Well, leading Monday, we have an interview with a guest host. And then Tuesday, we're jumping back into teaching tools. And I believe we have Corinne walking us through sort of an introductory Teams webinar that day. And Wednesday, we are moving on to what we're calling our assembly. And we're encouraging people to join us at the Transform Ed, virtual Transform Ed, which we will have all that on our Twitter feed. You can find the registration and all those goodies there.
I'm going to also put the link in for that as soon as I find it in the chat window so you can sign up. It's going to be a conversation about LMSs and Microsoft Education Tools working together as you support an online learning experience for your students. I'm looking for it. So I'll post it in a minute. But the other piece I wanted to share with you is an amazing article from a reflection of a graduate faculty member who said that he was putting a collection of tools together and developing his online learning or remote or distance learning strategy. And what he realized is this is emergency remote learning. This isn't planned for. Most schools' curriculum was not crafted to be online or distance learning experience. Most teachers and staff have not been trained in teaching online or through virtual tools. Most kids and families have not had the opportunity to be prepared for this change in learning. And yet, here we are, everyone doing their best to make this work. So just recognizing where we're at and the fact that this isn't planned for. We can do this together if we come together with these conversations and these supports and these best collaborations and sharing successful practice, then we can make it work. And you're doing an awesome job. So please keep up all of the hard, tough work that you're doing right now, because it is making a difference for our students. So I'll post both that article and the sign up for the Transform Ed FCL Assembly on Wednesday afternoon, but otherwise then we'll see you on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody.
Thanks so much, Martha. I really wanted to thank your whole organization for all the support you give to everybody, and just let you know that during this time and even before, lots of the stuff I've done with you, you've nudged me to be a little bit braver as an educator and push the envelope a little bit. So I really appreciate the support.
Thanks, Nancy. You made my Friday.
And I just wanted to add that Ryan and I got inspired on the Tuesday Minecraft session. So we have kind of got together now and we're trying to do some remote learning with our LPS students here in Lakehead and get them on a server and connected with us and joining some Minecraft worlds for them while they're in isolation.
Awesome. Keep us posted on that. That's wicked.
Mm-hmm. And to let the community know, sorry, I'm interrupting someone.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying hi, shout out to everyone, because I've been following, but I haven't been able to log on till this morning. So I've been watching the comments from the sidelines.
Jose, how are you?
I'm good.
How are you surviving?
Oh, I am surviving.
2 busy boys, principal.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Been crazy, but we're hanging in there. But I was just giving a shout out to my staff because I watched something absolutely incredible happen this week, and I saw teachers go into just production mode. No time for panic, no time for stress. It's just, we got to get this done. And I watched them practice, send each other lessons. I watched a virtual pretend classroom where they were all sitting in each other's classes and trying stuff out. And I thought that's absolutely amazing. And none of that I asked them to do. So I would give a shout out to Gaetan, Gervais, and Oakville because they are absolutely fantastic.
Takes a fantastic leader to recognize fantastic people. Well done, Jose. We need